Well, what's coming up next is the Laser Tools Pre-93 touring cars and the Berkshire Jag Components Jaguar Challenge. Yes, the big cats are back out. Great race from them yesterday. This grid combined with the Pre-93 touring cars, mainly BMWs. There's one or two Jaguars entered in the Pre-93s as well, and a couple of Volkswagens. A bit of news we've just had reaching us. Mike Seaborn, the reigning Jaguar champion, is out with his new XJS for the first time. He missed yesterday's race. His gearbox failed during qualifying. We're told he has managed to repair this morning and will be racing from the back of the grid in this one. Before we get this one underway then, a few interviews we got yesterday with Ian down in the paddock.
Right, here we are down in Parc Fermé, the Pre-93 Jags. Race 1 is done, but of course we move on to race 2, don't we? And I want to chat to this man over here, Ian Bowyer. Ian, run any marathons in the last 20 minutes?
No, 30 miles this morning in Manchester next weekend, so...
He's not even joking either, I have to say.
No.
What's it been like out there today in race 1?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been quite slippery. Well, not slippery, but where it's hot, the tyres are getting really, really hot. But yeah, it's good fun. Yeah, really good fun.
Now, I know you're a quick driver. You've got the pace, you've got the speed. Race 2, what's the tactic? Go on, you can tell us now.
I'm probably not going to get overexcited at the start like I did today, and just try not to win it on the first corner. I reckon. As Andy went wide because he got the back end out. I got a little bit excited, too much power, and then I kind of went wide with him and lost my opportunity. And a couple came past me, so I spent most of the race catching up and getting back into fourth. But I think my pace was quite good. My pace seemed all right. So I
mean, they're short races, 15 minutes. Yeah. If you do lose a bit of momentum, there's not much time, is there?
No. But tomorrow, I hopefully a bit steady at the start and see if I can catch these boys up.
Ian, you'll smash it. I know you will. And don't go for a run tonight. Just relax.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Let's grab a word of Andy Cripps over there as well. I want to have a look at this trophy.
So do I. That's been for ages, so I grab it.
Let's have a little look at
that.
My
little puppy.
It's going to be another one tomorrow, though, right?
I hope so. I hope it's as good as that one. So I might not mess up the first corner, unfortunately, where we chucked it a bit wide, got a bit over exuberant. But...
I spoke to David Griffin. He said he mucked up the start. I spoke to Ian Bow. He said he mucked up the start, and you mucked up the first corner.
Well, I like to do something. I've made quite a number of the suspension settings anyway. There's lots of excuses, but yeah, it was a bit harder on that race, and I just went sailing off. But yeah, we got it back together. I had a good battle with Mike, so that was just superb. Yeah, loved it.
And you're going to have a clean start as well tomorrow, right?
Hope so. Yeah, hopefully we're able to do the same thing again. And I think we got Dave Griffin off the start, got Ian off the start, and he obviously got away in the lead. And so okay, we're very good friends. Lodge racing in the first place, so it's really good to get him to do some nice close racing. And we were close a lot of the time. We should have some good video footage on the cameras.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy race 2, won't you, chaps? Thanks for talking to us. Let's hand back to Dave Goddard.
Yes, thanks very much, Ian. Ready for our next race then, a 15-minute race for the Laser Tools Pre-93 touring cars, Berkshire Jag Components Jaguar Challenge. The race yesterday was curtailed slightly early. We had a red flag with Matthew Davis's Jaguar off in the gravel at Club Corner. Hopefully he'll be back out today. It was BMWs who locked out the top 5 places in yesterday's race. Dave Griffin in the Diet Coke liveried BMW took the win ahead of Andy Cripps, Mike Dugdale, Ian Bowyer, the reigning Pre-93 champion, and Graham Myers, all in BMW M3s. Top Jaguar was Tom Robinson, his supercharged XJR6 in 6th overall, ahead of Colin Philpott and James Ram in their XJSs. James Ram coming through well for 8th place, having struggled in qualifying with a few issues. Keep an eye on James Ram's XJS, incidentally. There's a big message on his roof today. It says, "Hi Mum." It is, of course, Mother's Day today. So fair play to all the mums out there. A happy Mother's Day to everyone. James Ram, very much a family man, has a big message for his mum on the roof of his Jaguar. Starts ahead of Tom Butterfield, a welcome returnee this weekend, and former Jag champion Derek Pearce in his XK8. One of the elder statesmen of Jaguar racing, completing the top 10 on the grid. Cars that didn't finish or figure yesterday. Looking down the grid, we didn't see Stephen Dowell, one of the newcomers with his XKR. Hopefully we'll see that out today. David Howard had an incident yesterday in the Pre-83 touring car race, so hopefully we'll see him repaired for today. We didn't see Arthur Forster's BMW E30 M3. I'm hoping you do see that lovely car out. Mike Seaborn we mentioned. And also James Wall, number 77, will start at the back as he takes over Tom Lenthal's Jaguar. They're sharing a car this weekend. Matthew Davis, as we said, his XJ R6 ended up in the gravel yesterday at Club Corner. Well, he got further than he did in this meeting last year. You may remember at the start of race 1 on Saturday last year, he stalled on the grid, was hit from behind and caught fire. Thankfully, no repeats of that this year. A couple of newcomers in the Jaguars. Andrew Maynard in an XJ40. I think that's the car that Mike Seaborn raced to the title last season, the Castrol liveried XJ40. Also, we've got Andrew Harper, number 156. His car is the first turbo diesel to be raced in the Jaguar series. Man from Derby, 285 bhp diesel. And you'll recognise that car as being in the silk cut Jaguar livery. But it's BMWs to the fore on the grid. There's David Griffin in the Diet Coke car, the Australian-born racer. Starts alongside the green machine of Andy Cripps. Second row, Mike Dugdale in the black and white car. Ian Bauer, the reigning champion, and the Jägermeister car of Graham Myers. Then we've got the first of the Jags. There's James Ram, Eric Pearce, the XK8, Ian Knight with his Golf. Very potent car that one, the owner of Race Truck, builder of race transporters. Rick Walker, Lawrence Coppup with his Jag. Tim Morant with the lovely Castrol liveried Series 1. He won Class A for the Jags yesterday. Class A for the standard road spec cars. Class A, B, C and D. D being for full race modified machines. All depends on the level of modification of the cars. Classes A, B, C and D in the pre-93 touring cars as well, depending on engine size. Now, if David Howard's out there, he's a bit of an interloper because though he's in a Jaguar, he's not in the Jaguar Challenge. He's actually in the pre-93 touring cars. Number 14 there, the Jag of Jack Robinson, younger brother of Tom, making his debut this weekend. It's been a standing start, 15 minutes of racing. Puff of smoke there from, I think it was Tom Butterfield. Colin Philpott, 67, good to have him back out as well. We didn't see him last year in the Jaguar Challenge. Michael Holtz, number 11, with his X300. Rick Walker in the green XJS, the lean green racing machine as he calls it. Great fun is Rick. Simon Dunford, number 5, ahead of Dean Sewell with the Series 1 XJ6. There's Ian Bauer, the number 90, the Castrol BMW. Colours used by the CBM team in the Italian Superturismo Championship in the 90s. There's James Ram. The old Mozart colours used in the 80s by Jaguar. Derek Pearce in the Tom Lenthal prepared XK8. Tom has lent his car to newcomer James Wall for today's race. James will be starting it from the back if it's out there. Good luck to James Wall. It's his first ever car race this weekend. Did his ARDS licence test last year for his 40th birthday, so fair play to him. Into line then, the Laser Tools pre-93 touring cars, combined with the Berkshire Jag Components Jaguar Challenge. BMW versus Jaguar at the front of the field. The first 5 places on the grid set by yesterday's results, held by BMW M3s. Then the first of the big cats, Tom Robinson in the XJR6. Tom, the managing director of Swallows Motorsport, which prepares several of the Jaguars on this grid. There's Jack Robinson, his younger brother, with the novice cross on the back of his car. Number 14. Andy Sheraton in the Laser Tools BMW E30. The blue XJS on the left there is Nick Strong. We've already seen him racing his Capri today. And there is the silk cut liveried diesel Jaguar of Andrew Harper. Nice to see Jamie Sturgis out there. Normally races TCR cars, but in a BMW M535i, that lovely red and white BMW. They're very angular profiled car. Simon Lewis on the Series 1 XJ behind him. Just waiting to see if Mike Seaborn, the reigning Jaguar champion, lines up at the back and replacing his gearbox this morning. Matt Davis is there. The Fina BMW of Rob Crizzell. I've just caught a glimpse of the roof there of Mike Seaboard in the Gale Hill XJS. New car for him this year. He's at the back, so he is there. Well done to him and his team replacing the gearbox. Steve Walden in the E30 BMW lining up at the back, the orange car. He's in the invitation class. Just waiting to get the last couple of cars into line then. Thanks again to our marshals for doing so. There's Rob Crizzell into line in the almost Schnitzer lookalike BMW, made famous by the likes of Joe Winkelhock and Steve Soper. Matt Davis on the left in his Jaguar XJR6. I don't think we've got Arthur Forster, unfortunately, in the E30 M3. We don't seem to have David Howard or Stephen Dowell. I think he had problems in qualifying yesterday. James Wall is hopefully at the back as well, the newcomer in Tom Lenthall's car. Away they go then, down towards the first corner, and David Griffin has the lead. Good start by Ian Bauer up into third position. It's David Griffin who leads the way as they come through towards Village for the first time. Andy Cripps giving chase, having a look on the inside. They're all jockeying for position behind. Who's going to come out in third? It's Bauer ahead of Dugdale. The first of the Jags is James Ram. He's made a cracking start. Graham Myers out over the curbs in the BMW. The Jägermeister livery car, he's dropped back. 4 Jaguars fighting the lead. Tom Butterfield sends one in there against Colin Philpotts. They charge their way down the hanger straight, this grid of big saloon cars. It is David Griffin from Andy Cripps. Third place is Mike Dugdale. Then we have got Ian Bauer in fourth, and Tom Robinson drawing up alongside James Ram for the lead of the Jags. I didn't see the red lights come on at the start of that race. I think there might be a problem with the lights here at Silverstone. David Griffin leads. Andy Cripps in second place. Then it's Dugdale ahead of Bauer. He's got through. Number 51 of Mike Dugdale into third position. James Ram and Tom Robinson battling for the lead. The Jags, Colin Philpotts sideways behind them. It's Robinson who's got the lead in the supercharged XJR6. Listen, see if you can hear the supercharger. There you can hear the whine of the supercharger on Tom Robinson's car. Super sounding car, that one. As David Griffin continues to lead, looking for win number 2 this weekend. The race, as we said, was curtailed early yesterday. It's Griffin who took the win on count back ahead of Andy Cripps, Mike Dugdale and Ian Bauer, this quartet of M3s. And Robinson, Ram and Philpott, the first of the Jags, then Graham Myers. And another couple of Jags behind them, Butterfield and Holt, and then Ian Knight in the Volkswagen Golf. Seeing if we're missing any cars further down the field. Jamie Sturgis didn't come around on the first lap, unfortunately, in the BMW M535. Very busy there in the midfield. A bit of smoke there from Rick Walker in 54. Here's the fight for third. Dugdale against Bauer. Ian Bauer, twice pre-93 champion in the Emanuele Naspetti lookalike BMW. That's the ex-Paul Bellamy car. It's David Griffin who leads the way. Diet Coke BMW's won the Bathurst 1000 in the late 90s when it was a super touring race. It was Jeff and David Brabham who took the win, sons of the great Sir Jack Brabham. A line of Jags and Beamers in the middle of the pack. There is James Wall, our newcomer, number 77. There's the Silk Cut livery, one of the most famous motorsport liveries ever from the Jaguars at Le Mans in the 80s. A pair of Series 1 XJs together there. One is a Jaguar, number 40 Dean Sewell. The other one, Tim Morant, is a Daimler. They're almost leaning on each other through there. Big stuff all the way down the order. Tom Robinson still leads the big cats. There he is, the white car, ahead of James Ram and Colin Philpott. The leaders starting to get a little more strung out now, the BMWs. Tom Robinson on the back of the number 90 of Ian Bauer, trying to take the M3s. There's Michael Holtz at number 11 in his X300 Jaguar. It's an office furniture company. Lime green and grey Jaguar. Bauer under fire from Robinson. It's David Griffin who continues to set the pace. Fastest lap of the race has been done by Mike Dugdale that time through, though, 1:14.937, and you can see he's dropped Ian Bauer. He's moving up on Andy Cripps, challenging for second place. Cripps in the green BMW, holding second. Dugdale is in attacking mode. Ian Bauer's dropped back into fourth. He's busy dealing with Tom Robinson in the leading Jag. Tom Robinson doesn't need to pass Ian Bauer, never mind being in the same class. They're not even in the same championship. It's all for pride. All good fun, as motorsport should be. Second of the Jags is still James Ram, the former champion. Colin Philpott, another ex-champion behind him. Now where is Mike Seaborn? He's up to 14th place from the back in his new XJS. Hopefully we'll get a look at that car as he comes through. New to him anyway, the ex-Gale Hill XJS Mike is driving. Gale, one of Britain's leading ladies of club racing. David Griffin continues to set the pace. Mike Dugdale continues to attack. David Griffin, though, is responding. He's just done the fastest lap of the race, 1:14.673. 0.3 of a second quicker than Mike Dugdale has managed. There go the top five. Sixth behind them is James Ram. Then it's Philpott, Myers, Butterfield and Holtz, the top 10 at the moment. Tom Robinson in one of only about 100 XJR6s to be built with manual transmission. And there is Mike Seaborn in his new acquisition, the XJS. He's coming through very nicely, having replaced the gearbox on that car prior to today's race. He's got ahead of Rick Walker, so he's made up another place. There's Lawrence Kopok, Rob Crizel's Schnitzer BMW, Tim Morant in the Series 1, the E30 of Andy Sheraton, the Laser Tools car. Son Michael not racing this weekend with his Anglia. Great to have Mike Seaborn back out, reigning Jaguar champion. Works as a railwayman, based in Wiltshire. There is Tom Robinson, the managing director of Swallows Racing, who prepare many of these Jags. The car featured recently in Jaguar World magazine, showcasing the build of this very impressive machine indeed. There is James Ram in second place. He runs ComSec Investigations based in Essex, chased by Colin Philpott in the Power Mill car. 8.5 minutes to go. Second race of the weekend for the Laser Tools Pre-93 touring cars and the Berkshire Jag Components Jaguar Challenge. Mike Dugdale throwing his BMW around there in third place. Ian Bauer's got clear again of Tom Robinson. But Robinson's pace has dropped off just a little bit. He's safe at the front of the Jags though. Went sideways there through Village. Mike Seaborn still ahead of Rick Walker. Now Seaborn second in Class B. To get maximum points in his class, he needs to get ahead of Derek Pearce in the XK8. Separating them at the moment is Ian Knight in the VW Golf. The other VW didn't start this race, unfortunately. That was Byron Aldous with his Corrado. There we can see the turbo diesel Silk Cut car. Chasing 144. That's Cliff Ryan with the XJRS. Jack Robinson, the newcomer ahead of them. Great to see so many new drivers in the Jaguar series, really getting back to its best this season. And the BMWs are coming up to lap one, and there's number 63. That is Andrew Maynard, West Countryman in what I think is the ex-Mike Seaborn XJ40. Let's say a big thanks to Lynn Bates, regular marshal with the Jaguars and with the BARC over the years. She's been sending us info from down at trackside on the Jags. Thanks, Lynn. There is Seaborn. Is he catching Derek Pearce? Let's have a look at the lap times as they go over the line. Pearce in 11th overall. Yes, Seaborn is lapping a couple of seconds quicker, so I reckon he's going to take the lead of his class shortly. Robinson clear at the front of the Jaguars. Leaders have lapped Andrew Maynard. 3 BMWs, fairly well spaced out now. Griffin leads by 2 seconds. There's Ian Knight in his Golf. James Wall is going well, number 77. Past Andy Sheraton there. He's up to 21st from the back of the grid on his debut. Unless they've swapped round, it's Tom Lenthal in the car now and James Wall was in yesterday, I'm not sure. Apologies if I have got that the wrong way round. There's Damien Gray, we just caught a glimpse of there in his XJ40 in the colours of the old Jaguar Formula One team from the early 2000s. Eddie Irvine, Johnny Herbert were among their drivers. Steve Walton behind him. Jamie Sturgis is still going, the BMW there, the red and white machine. One car we've lost into the pits, Simon Lewis, number 65, the yellow Series 1 XJ6, he's retired. Robinson still heads the Jaguars, there he is. Tom Robinson, that is, the older of the two brothers. Passing Maynard there. James Ram in second place, and Graham Myers has recovered after a slight mistake on the first lap. He's got past Colin Philpott there in the XJS. Listening to Tom Robinson's Jaguar there. Hear the whine of that supercharger. Just under 5 minutes of the race to go. The blue flag being shown by the marshals there at Club Corner because there are back markers being lapped. There are BMWs there, the older BMWs being lapped by the newer one of Andy Cripps. David Griffin is about to hit. What is the correct collective now for a group of Jaguars? Tell us in the YouTube comments. He's got to pick his way through this. He's got Damien Gray ahead of him. Then ahead of him is David Ringham's XJS, who got a bit of smoke from the turbo diesel there of Andrew Harper. Diet Coke BMW. Mired in this back marker traffic at the moment. Griffin still in the clear, he's nearly 3 seconds up on Andy Cripps now. Simon Dunford ahead there in the number 5 XJS. Who's leading Class A of the Jaguars? It's Tim Morant who won the class yesterday, and David Griffin has got two cars side by side ahead of him. The marshals will be displaying the blue flags here to warn them that the leader is going through. Yep, gets through there, no problem. Now next he's got to be faced with a bit of a smoke screen from the turbo diesel Jag of Andrew Harper. Andrew runs a Jaguar parts supplier based in Derbyshire. Son Thomas has said he wants to race Jags as well. He's in Honda Cadet karts at the moment, so when he's old enough I'm sure we'll see Thomas Harper out in his own Jag. David Griffin has lapped Andrew Harper in that new diesel Jaguar. There's Andy Cripps, he's in there somewhere. There you can see James Rand. You can just see on his roof the message we mentioned earlier, but now he's got Colin Philpott, his long-time Jag rival, on his tail. Philpott up the inside as they come up towards Village, and he goes through. Good move, Colin Philpott in the Powerbell Services car. Now they're actually in different classes. Colin Philpott's a Class C car, and James Ram is Class D. Tom Robinson, the Jag leader, is Class D as well. So it won't matter too much to James Ram that Colin Philpott has got through there. Ram fighting back as they come down towards Stowe Corner. Philpott from Berkshire, James Ram from Essex, and the problems for Graham Myers. A cloud of smoke there. He's got the indicator going, he's pulling into the pits. Graham Myers out of the race. He was 6th, but he won't be now. He's into the pit lane, that's a retirement. The XJS is lapping Matthew Davis. He's the MD of the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust. After Jags of all ages and Daimlers. I've got one Daimler out in this race, Tim Morant's Castrol Daimler Series 1. Oh, Cliff Ryan trying to get out of the way of Ian Bauer there, loses a spot to Andy Sheraton's BMW. Just over 90 seconds to go, so David Griffin will be coming round to start his final lap this time, I think. He's barely been headed all weekend. He didn't make the best of starts in yesterday's race. To start what will be his final lap. It will be Diet Cokes all round in the paddock once again. born in Australia, but now resides in Lincolnshire. David Griffin is also racing in the Classic Thunder Championship this weekend, so only time for a quick Diet Coke before he's lining up again for his race later on. Dominant from Dave Griffin here. Still plenty more racing to come. We've got more BMWs up next. Lead is 7.5 seconds for Griffin over Andy Cripps. He's lapping 2 seconds a lap quicker than his pursuers. He really has turned on the style here. Cripps still second, Dugdale third, Bauer fourth, so no real change among the leaders. Tom Robinson still leads the Jags. Colin Philpott and James Ram behind him. Into Stowe for the last time, coming up to lap Lawrence Kopok. So he's lapped everybody up to 16th place now, David Griffin. Dominance from the Diet Coke BMW. Clock counts down to 0 as he comes into club corner, so it will be checkered flag this time. 2 out of 2 to kick off a perfect start to the pre-93 touring car season for David Griffin. Takes his second win of the weekend. Well clear of his BMW opposition. Salutes his team going across the pit wall there to say thank you to his mechanics as they cheer him home. Second place goes to Andy Cripps, and third to Mike Dugdale. Ian Bauer fourth, and here comes our Jaguar winner, number 4, Tom Robinson. He's just lapped his brother Jack in the 14 car. Tom Robinson 5th overall and takes the Jaguar victory for the second time. The team Swallows Racing salute him home. Second of the Jags just will be Colin Philpott there in the background ahead of James Ram. Philpott wins his class as well. Go through the class winners when we give you the results. Tom Butterfield is next home, and then it should be Michael Holtz and Mike Seaborn. I can say he has got ahead of Derek Pearce from the back of the grid up to 10th and will win his class. Great debut for his new car. There's Michael Holtz, and he was nearly caught by Mike Seaborn there. Seaborn a top 10 finish. Derek Pearce behind Ian Knight in the Golf for 11th and 12th, and behind them it's Rob Crisel's BMW, Rick Walker's green XJS, Lawrence Kopok a lap down, completing the top 15. So there's the provisional result then. BMWs to the fore once again, 4 of them in the top 4. Griffin, Cripps, Dugdale and Bauer well spaced out at the end. Tom Robinson wins the Jags, while Colin Philpott just beats James Ram for second overall, and Philpott wins his class. Mike Seaborn wins Class B. Class D of the pre-93s goes to Ian Knight in the Golf. Further back down the order, Tim Morant wins Jaguar Class A. Pre-93 Class D goes to Andy Sheraton. Invitation class to Steve Walden's BMW. We only had a couple of retirements there as well. Simon Lewis's Jaguar, Graham Myers' BMW we saw pull into the pits as well. Well, we'll hand down shortly to Park Fermé with Ian Waterhouse. He'll take us through a quick chat with a couple of the drivers.
Well, welcome down everybody to Park Fermé, and a bit of a case of deja vu. I'm having Diet Coke deja vu because it's Dave Griffin again. Let's hope we get to see those flowing locks of his again. I mean, we're certainly going to chat to him as your race winner. It's a perfect weekend for him, a pair of wins here. Great. Yeah, let's go have a chat with Dave now. Come rain, come shine, warm, cold, doesn't matter, does it, Dave? You're always on the top step.
Yeah, man, I got a good start that time. I kind of worked out the balance of not being able to see the lights and not being able to see the dash, so I got it right that time, which gave us a bit more space at the front, and I could manage the pace pretty well. We got up to that Jaguar, the wall of Jaguar.
The wall of Jags.
I think there was like 8 of them in a row. It was like overtaking a train and trying to fit into the carriages as it went along. It was good fun, really good fun.
Do us a favour, will you? Take your helmet off and give it all of that for us, will you? Give it the old damage yellow, will you? Look at this.
Hey, happy Mother's Day too. My wife and little kid Haydos are here, and I know it's not Wives' Day, but happy Mother's Day anyway to all the mums.
Good words, good words. That lets you off for racing today, then.
Yeah, kind of make sure you say that.
Congratulations, perfect weekend for you. I know Chris probably wants to have a chat, so I'm going to move over. We've got Mr. Robinson over here as well. Now, if I had to describe this car as a mythical creature, it would be a fire-breathing dragon. It's good to see you again, buddy. You know I love this car. You know I love the sound it makes. And what was it like out there? Because it was a bit nippy.
Yeah, it was. It was much better today than it was yesterday. I think track temps were a little bit lower, so that helped massively. Yesterday I had oversteer for days. It was just uncontrollable. But had a bit of a poor start. James and Colin got the better of me, but luckily with the power, managed to get in front of the hangar and keep it there. So.
This car is made for Silverstone, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah. It suits it perfectly. It's hard through the tight sections. Yesterday with Colin, that was where he had the edge. But yeah, it's the perfect track for the car, really. It's great.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Anyway, there we go. Right, still a lot of races to come, so I'm going to hand back to your commentator, Dave Goddard, who's going to tell you what is coming up next. Enjoy.